Sheaf of rice, the kindness that almost killed. First of all, imagine this. You offer help to a stranger every day. They never thank you. One day, overcome with anger, you decide to take revenge. But at the last second, something stops you. Days later, you discover that this same stranger saved your son's life. Now think, what if your revenge had been carried out? This is the story of a woman, a loaf of bread, a mysterious hunchback, and a lesson that could change the way you see the world. In a quiet village, surrounded by mountains and silence, lived a woman with a generous heart. Her house was simple, made of aged wood and windows that creaked in the wind. But within it, there was warmth, love, and a routine that began even before the sun touched the horizon. Every morning she woke early to prepare breakfast for her family, her husband, daughter, and son. But there was something special about her routine. Besides food for her family, she always baked an extra loaf of bread. A silent, ownerless loaf of bread was left on the windowsill. It was his way of saying to the world, if you're hungry, here's a gesture of kindness waiting for you. And this gesture didn't go unnoticed. Almost every day, a hunchbacked man with slow steps and a distant look in his eyes would appear. He took the bread without saying a word. He ate it right there in silence. And before leaving, he always repeated the same phrase, whatever you do that's bad stays with you, and whatever you do that's good comes back to you. The woman at first found it curious. But over time, the absence of a simple thank you began to bother her. Doesn't he feel grateful? Doesn't he notice the effort I make? She wondered. The repeated phrase seemed to mock her generosity. With each day the doubt grew. And with it the resentment. Until one night, seized by a dark impulse, she decided she had already done too much. Tomorrow he'll learn gratitude, she murmured as she mixed poison into the bread dough. The next morning as she picked up the poisoned bread, her hands trembled. The dough smelled different. The weight of guilt had already settled in before sunrise. What am I doing? She whispered, frightened by her own actions. In a desperate gesture, she threw the bread into the fire. The flames consumed not only the dough but also her anger. Weeping, she prepared another loaf, fresh and pure, and placed it on the window. She made a silent plea, may this gesture truly help someone. Shortly after, the hunchback appeared. He took the bread, repeated his enigmatic phrase and left, unaware of the danger he had almost faced. The days went on. The woman continued her routine. But deep down, what occupied her mind most was her son. He had left months earlier in search of a better future. Since then, no letter, no sign. Every morning as she kneaded the dough, she prayed, protect my son. Bring him back. Until one cold night, an unexpected sound echoed through the house. A faint, almost desperate knock. As she opened the door, her eyes filled with tears. Before her stood the long-awaited son. But he wasn't the same. He was pale, haggard, his clothes torn, and his body visibly weakened. Mother, it's a miracle I'm here, he whispered before collapsing in her arms. She said that, on her journey, she had fainted from hunger. She thought she wouldn't make it. But then a hunchbacked man appeared. He approached her and offered her the only bread he had. I eat this every day, but today you need it more than I do. The woman put her hand to her mouth. The world spun. It was him. The same man who brought her bread every day. The ungrateful one. The hunchback. The bread she nearly poisoned. Could have been her own son's last meal. She fell to her knees. She wept. My God, what if I had done that? The exhausted son didn't understand his mother's reaction. But she knew. She knew exactly what had almost happened. And in that instant, she grasped the true meaning of the hunchback's repeated phrase, what you do wrong stays with you and what you do right comes back to you. Those words, once irritating, now had profound meaning. The kindness she had offered for so long had returned to save her son's life. And what's more, she understood that even the smallest gesture of generosity can change entire destinies. The hunchback, who never expressed gratitude in words, showed gratitude in the truest form, by passing on the kindness. He had nothing, yet he still gave his only food to someone in greater need. In this silent act, he revealed a lesson greater than any words could convey. The woman began to see that goodness, when practiced, never disappears. It's like a seed sown in the soil. It may take time, it may weather storms, but eventually it blossoms, and often returns when we least expect it and exactly where we need it most. She also understood the terrible weight she would have carried if she had followed her impulse for revenge. The evil she nearly committed would not only have hurt the hunchback, but could have destroyed the lives of those she loved most. This made her reflect on how anger and ingratitude often blind us, making us forget who we truly are. In that moment, her heart was seized by a new certainty. Good is always stronger than evil, even when it seems small or unnoticed. And the phrase that had previously bothered her so much began to echo within her like a guide. What you do that is bad stays with you, and what you do that is good comes back to you. If this story touched your heart, share it. Every simple gesture of support generates gratitude and returns in the form of blessings. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and continue with me on this journey. There is still much content that can transform your outlook on life. I want to hear from you too. Let us know in the comments how these words touched your heart and what your search for peace and balance has been like. We will walk side by side on this path of awakening and healing, because truly, this is all just beginning.